So there you go. I've potentially got 3 different solutions for mounting the gear position sensor. One in its original position I've got there as far up to the engine as possible, but it does seem to clash with the water pipes. So secondly, I'm going to have to potentially move it clear of the water pipes. There does seem to be enough room to do that, which will be another development. Or thirdly, which was the favourite, but I'm not quite sure if it's feasible now, is to utilise the bell housing from the Land Rover Discovery 3 version and mate it to my gearbox. I know it's physically possible, but the gearbox is at 10 millimeters longer. Is that really an issue? I think it probably is for me at the moment, unless somebody can tell me otherwise. Anyway, before we finish, Glenn's give me some feedback from video 48, and just wanted to remind people what things meant. So I did a test running to past 3,000 RPM with the MCM connected. So what was significant about that is 3,000 RPM is the limp mode limit, i.e. if you're in limp mode, the car won't rev past that. So it's a good test, even though you don't have limp mode or engine performance restricted or something like that message on the car. It could be a hidden limp mode, so it's a way of checking the car is actually functioning properly, and it did. He's also saying to make it clear to the audience that if they go down the aftermarket ECM route, that you will get a load of new errors. So working with this project with Glenn, he's trying to combat the errors that are thrown up by the car when you remove the transmission, and in theory, more practically, the transmission control module. So you get all the errors associated with that particular module. Obviously, if you go aftermarket ECU, you'll also trigger all the errors associated with the ECU module. So you got double the pain. So Glenn's working through all the transmission control errors, and he's practically got that sorted for several versions of car. I'll go on in a minute. But if you go the aftermarket route, you can't just choose any aftermarket ECU. You need to get it from somebody who knows what they're doing and actually is able to interpret all the CAN bus error codes that will be thrown up when you throw the aftermarket ECU in. Now, there are 2 people I know that do that. One in the UK, Stephen McDowell and PV Engineering. He works together with Swallows with their manual transmission swaps, and they do the full ECU change. So Stephen has taken a long time interpreting all the errors thrown up by the car when removing the transmission and the ECU and replacing it with a max ECU. So he's the guy in the UK doing it, and he's primarily been doing it for race cars, but also he's providing a kit for road cars as well, with the help of his knowledge and experience of all the CAN bus codes to make the car drivable. The second people are Jaguar Specialties in the US. Now, they've been doing manual transmission swaps for years with XKR X100s based on LS engine conversions. Obviously, again, if you swap the engine, you need to swap the ECU, and the transmission control module is both dumped. So those are another set of guys who actually spend a lot of time interpreting all the CAN bus codes, and they've got a box of tricks that'll make the car function correctly. So if you want this sort of manual transmission swap, there are 3 people doing it in a slightly different way. Now, Glenn, with his manual control module, his emulator, just purely for the gearbox, has now got 3 applications that he's very happy with. First of all is his own car. That's a 2005 XK8, the 4.2 litre car. That is working fine with his MCM with a manual S-type gearbox. There's also my car, a 1996 XK8, working off the same gearbox. In theory, that is also functioning correctly, albeit we haven't got it in the car yet, but it's not throwing any errors with the components missing. And then thirdly, he's also got the application with Stuart Connell and his XJR, What's interesting, all the CAN bus signals of those three cars are subtly different. I think there's 3 different versions of CAN bus for the X100. I'm not sure how many it is for the XJ Jag. There's probably 3. You've got the early cars, the original 4-litre version, then you've got the later 4-litre upgraded version, and then you've got the 4.2 litre. I think it's something like that, but I stand to be corrected. So in theory, Glen's MCM can easily be used on any AJ V8 application with a bit of tinkering. The principal idea is good. Is just ironing out all the little foibles of each of the CAN bus differences between cars and versions. Finally, with my car, I do have gearbox fault flash up momentarily when I start the car. Now, Glen assures me that that isn't present on his car and on Stuart's XJ, because their CAN bus signals or CAN bus sequence is working in a slightly different way. So he's going to work out how to get rid of it completely. But in the meantime, it's not a massive issue. Anyway, there you go. This is where I am in my project. I've got all the exhaust off, as you can see. I'm in the process of removing the gearbox. I'm wondering what to do with this second-hand Land Rover gearbox I've just bought, which is massive and it's very heavy. So I'm going to have to try and get that out of the way. Anyway, I hope you're finding this interesting. If you're considering a manual transmission swap, we're trying to go through all the problems you may have and document them for you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe for more XK videos. Bye-bye.